Hello, dear students. Today we'll just continue the lessons that we have already started on the previous day. Lesson number 4, Gopi and Bhaga. Today we are going to see in detail about Bhaga Bai. He was the son of Panchu Pines. Take your book, page at 45. We'll just start from there. We'll see, how he lead his life, what he was and what he liked, and what happened at the end. In another village close by, there lived a man called Panchu Pine. Panchu's son loved playing the drum. While playing his drum, he would shake his head, tap his feet, glare at everyone, gnash his teeth, and frown fiercely. People in his village would gap at him and marvel, ooh, ooh. Sometimes he would let out a roar just like a tiger. When he did that, his audience would run away in fear and stumble and fall. That is why he was known as Bhagabai, which means tiger-like drummer. Everyone forgot what his actual name was. So in this paragraph we see about him, that what kind of drummer he was. When he used to play the drum, he had a habit of shaking his head, then tapping his feet, glaring at everyone, and gnashing his teeth, and at the same time he used to frown fiercely. And just because of him, just because of his behavior or his doing or playing the drum in this way, the people in his village would gab at him and marvel, and ooh. This is the thing that the villagers did. Sometime, he roared, as we have already seen, like a tiger, and because of that, the people got afraid of him and used to run away. Bhaga would start playing his drum with gusto every morning, and so great was the force of his playing that he would also break the drum. By the end of each day, his father would have to buy him a new one on the following morning. So just you see, he used to play the drum, with gusto every morning. It was very energetic, and we see here very enthusiastic, in playing the drum. And the force was so great, you can see here, and so great was the force of his playing that he would break the drum by the end of each day. So at the end of the day, he used to break the drum by playing. And on the next day, his father had to buy him another one. In the end, Panchu Pine could not afford to buy Bhaga any more drums. But how could Bhaga give up drumming? People in his village said, we will collect money and supply Bhaga with drums. It is our good fortune to have such an accomplished drummer in our village. He should not stop playing. So we see, at the end what happened. Panchu Pine had to stop buying drum for him because he could not afford. And that's why we see, the villagers decided that they would collect money and buy drum for him. Just because they wanted that Bhaga had to, the Bhaga has to continue playing the drum. After much discussion, they decided that they would buy him a drum that was so strong and sturdy that even Bhaga would find it very difficult to break. And you see, after discussion, once they collected the money, they discussed that they are going to buy him a drum that was very strong and sturdy, that he would not be able to break at the end of the day. And what a drum they bought for him. It was 3.5 feet wide, equally tall, and its skin was made from buffalo hide. Bugger was overjoyed, and you see, okay, finally the villagers have bought for him a drum that was okay made from buffalo hide. And seeing this, Bugger was very much joyful. I will play it standing up, he said. So from that day, Bugger played his drum standing up. The drum had a fine sound. It was not only marvelously loud, it was also amazingly strong, and remained undamaged even after Bugger played it day and night for 1.5 months. So for 1.5 months, okay, nothing had happened to the drums. Though he was playing okay day and night, nothing happened to it, just because it was very strong. But his parents had started throbbing from listening to him, and they thought they would lose their minds. All the other people in the village also started feeling dizzy in the head. No one can say what could have happened if this went on much longer. So you see, just because of him, okay, just because of his playing drum, the villagers were much worried. They felt dizzy, and they had to okay take some decision. Let's see what did they do after that. One day all the villagers came and told Bugger, "Dear brother, we will give you 10 pots of sweets. Please go somewhere else. If you stay here, we will all go mad." And this is what they requested him. They asked him to leave immediately, as soon as possible. Okay? And what are they going to give to him? They are going to give 10 pots of sweets. Poor Bugger, what he could do, he had to take his drum and go to another village. They heard him play and greeted him enthusiastically. But within 2 days, the people of that village also threw him out. After that, wherever he went, he was driven out in no time. So here we see, okay, poor Bugger had to leave the village, and he thought of going to some other village, and there we see, okay, there also in the beginning he was greeted okay enthusiastically, but later on, just after 2 days, he was just thrown out. Bugger started roaming in the fields. When he felt hungry, he would go back to his village and start drumming. The villagers would quickly bring him food and heave a sigh of relief when he left. But soon they stopped bringing food. Instead, they drove him away. And we see, okay, this boy, okay, that Bugger, whenever he felt hungry, he went back to his village, as he was promised that he will be given 10 pots of sweets. And then he went and ate, but this did not continue for a long time, and that was also stopped. The villagers, okay, ones who promised to give him 10 pots of sweets, they also stopped giving him. And what did they do? Instead of helping him, instead of giving something or offering something to him, they just drove him away. Enough is enough, thought poor Bugger. It's better to go and live in the forest than to suffer fools. What can happen? I may get eaten by a tiger, but at least I will be able to play my drum. And he went into the forest with his drums. And here we see, okay, at the end he was also frustrated. At the same time, he was very much tensed. And that's why we see here, he said, okay, enough is enough. And then, okay, he thought of going where? Going in the forest, than to just suffer here like a fool's. At least in the forest, he can play the drum, okay, without any disturbance. Though he was afraid of the tiger, yet he had to take this decision. And finally, we see him, okay, he's landing up in the forest. Bagha lived quite happily there for some time. He could play his drum without people chasing him out of the villages. But after a while, his peace was disturbed. The forest had no tigers, but it did not seem to have one terrible beast. Bagha hadn't seen it, but had heard it roar in the distance. Its bellow would make him tremble all over. This creature will probably eat me up and my drum too if he sees me. Bagha thought and decided he should find another forest to live in. Without any fear, Bagha could play his drum, but then, okay, he had a problem. Okay, problem of what? We see here, okay, he just heard what? Terrible, what to say, roaring. Okay, here he says, terrible beast. Bagha hadn't seen it. He had just heard. And that's why, okay, he thought of leaving the forest and to live in another forest. The terrible beast was none other than Gopigan. What Bagha thought was the beast's roar was Gopi practicing his song in another part of the forest. And here we come to know, okay, actually this terrible beast was none other than who? None other than Gopi. This Gopi himself was practicing his song in another part of the forest. Gopi could hear Bagha playing the drum, and he too was terrified by its loud roar. Finally, one day he decided to run away from the forest. He could not live in fear of the beast. Here we see, okay, both of them have decided to leave the forest and to change or to live somewhere, somewhere in the forest itself, but not to continue living in the same place. So dear students, okay, after here, please study, and as I have asked you earlier to make 5 questions, today also you make another 5 short questions, okay. Your homework, you just make 5 short question and answer. Just 5 short question and answers as you have made earlier. And we will continue this lesson on the next day. If you have any kind of doubts with this, okay, the thing which I already told you, you may ask me. Thank you so much.